All right. There was no plan there. Dante was standing on me, purring like mad, got himself into a situation where, yes, you are very tall. Now he's standing on the floor with his front feet on my knees. Ooh, Tom just made a loud noise and Dante did not like it. So now Dante's going to go find out what happened. Okay, we are doing a new design for living. Let's do the housekeeping, and all the housekeeping is me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. Website is creativelife.org. Constant contact email, info@creativelife.org. Get you one email a week, tells you what's going on for the week and the month. The hot links are hot, so click here now means it. And it is a blind CC. Nobody's going to see your email. You want to end up on anybody else's email list because of us. Last thing is the social media. I only mention it because we do not monetize it. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So we ask you to go like, subscribe, follow based on which platform you are on. And then engage with the individual post by reacting, commenting, sharing. It bumps us in the algorithms. More people see our stuff. Which, let's be honest, that's the goal, right? Okay. So it's a free and easy way that you can support the center. And we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. And I am the running Rev Ryan across all the social medias that I am on. So there is that. Okay. So a new design for living is the process of science of mind. This is literally Ernest Holmes sitting down and saying, okay, we've got lots of theory. Let's tell people how to do this. Step by step, kind of, quite literally. It's not necessarily numbered, but it is pretty step by step. Science of mind really isn't a religion because we don't tell you what to believe. We teach you how and why it's important. So, that's what this is. And it was one of his last books. Not the last book that was put out, but one of the last ones that he, because they just recently, if you have not seen the Asilomar lectures, that's a phenomenal book. So, and that just came out maybe within the last year. I don't know. Time doesn't mean anything anymore. And it hasn't since COVID. Okay. But we are currently in chapter 13, which is Successful Living. And our title today is really interesting. Avoid Civil War. And let's be honest, there's nothing civil about war. So, let's see what he has to say about avoiding civil war. Although we are a whole individual, we have several distinct aspects. We have been speaking primarily of thought and our acceptance in thought of the greater good we desire. But we also have our emotional nature, and we live in a life filled with action. Thought, emotion, and action must be unified in purpose and intent. There must be no conflict between them, or we will find ourselves in a position where one will negate the good of the others. We must intelligently accept the truth of our affirmations of good. We must emotionally embody and feel them, live them right now, and our every act must demonstrate that we know they are actualities. Frequently, people will write absolutely beautiful treatments, and as they're doing the treatments, their emotions are on the opposite side. And then they wonder why their treatment doesn't work. Or they do beautiful treatments, they're really feeling their treatments, and then they go out and act opposite to what they're treating about. It doesn't work. You do need to be unified. You do need your thought, your emotions, and your actions to be unified. Like, whatever good you want in your life, you gotta be taking actions that support that good. You gotta, make sure that you're feeling like it. A lot of the times that's exactly like people can tell you, okay, this is the good that you want. And your feelings will tell you whether or not that's true. Like, how do you feel about that situation? And that's always a good check-in. It's like when you're talking about your good, how do you feel? Because if you don't feel good about it, then you need to step back and go, okay, is this good I actually want? Or is this good I've been told that I want? Okay. There is a difference. There are a whole lot of people who care very much about you, but don't know you well enough to know what good is actually good for you. So be aware of that. Okay. Let's see. Where was I? It makes no difference if they are on the spiritual level at the present moment. They have to be there first ever to be any place else. So we must hold ourselves together and try not to go in 3 directions at once, or let ourselves become involved in a civil war. What we are expresses itself as thought, emotion, and action. Their source is one. Keep them unified, but in it and guided by it. Maintain a balance of power between them. Don't let one run rampant over the others. Cooperative effort among them will enable us to successfully experience a richer life. Oh, we're going to finish this chapter tomorrow. Okay. And that is very important. The balance between the head and the heart and the action are super important. You need all 3. All 3 are super important. So you do need them. And like I said, with the emotion absolutely can be that check on yourself. What was that line he just used? Hang on. Let me get back to that line. Okay. What we are expresses itself as thought, emotion, and action. Okay. What we are expresses itself as thought, emotion, and action. Now, one of the things that I want to remind you, okay, is about reactions. Now, I'm a big believer in responses, because responses are when you take a moment, think about what you're doing, feel about what you're doing, and then you take action. A reaction is automatic. Okay. And so one of the things that I want you to know that I have learned is that your first reaction is generally conditioned. So the first thing that pops into your head is not necessarily who you are. All right. It's that second thought that is. So keep that in mind. If your first reaction is not what you would like, then it's good to know that, but be aware that that was probably conditioned. One of the things that I like to do is when thoughts pop into my head and I'm like, okay, whose voice is that? Especially if it's one of those thoughts that pops into my head and I'm like, no, whose voice is that? Whose voice is that? So that's one of the things. The first thing that pops into your head, your first reaction, if you react without thinking, that is a conditioned reaction, and it is something that is not necessarily who you are. Okay. So it's a good idea to work on those conditioned reactions. Ask yourself, whose voice is that? Ask yourself, why did I think that? And then allow yourself to have a second thought and see what you really think. And when you are doing treatments or when you're working on your good, do let your emotions be your guide. Because sometimes, because you have to, here's where that balance is. Sometimes when you're doing treatment, and you don't feel good about it, maybe it's because you don't feel worthy of the good. Okay. So that's something else that that's a different kind of work on. Or sometimes when you're working on that treatment and you're going, and again, you don't feel good about it, then you have to stop and ask, okay, is it because I don't feel worthy of this? Or is it because this isn't actually what I want? That right there is super important. And that is one of those things where your emotions can guide your intellect. Because a lot of the times our intellect is like, oh, I want this because it's new and shiny. And your emotions are going, no, No. No, I want this because it's comfortable and warm. I don't necessarily need that because it's new and shiny. So that is one of the absolutely beautiful things that your emotions can do for you. They can help you sort between what you actually want and what you've been told you want. So let them be your guide. But again, as he said, let the source of you be your guide. Okay. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day. You got this day. We're getting ready to wrap this week up day. It's starting to warm up day. So take your precautions day, drink plenty of water day, cuddle your fur babies day, do something that makes you laugh day, eat something really amazing day, maybe out of words day, a take care of yourself day, make sure that you make time to sit down and rest day, or read something just for fun day, or read something that illuminates you day, or listen to some amazing music day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, because occasionally it is, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, an absolutely beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. And, as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right? So explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything at all is possible. All right, beloveds, I'm going to move on to the process of my day. There were words. Simply, I'm going to remind you, Reverend David will be on sometime this afternoon. I'll be back with you around 9-ish tomorrow. Take